No, it's me that's talking about it.
Brilliant.
Welcome to
My Guy Reviews, the podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to My Guy Reviews, the podcast. I'm joined by My Guy Monkey. How are you doing?
Hello. I'm doing good. I'm here.
Excellent. As always. We always have that hesitation on starting. But once it's up and running, we're good to go. So as always, we come up with a podcast topic idea for what I've been listening to a lot of podcasts of late, and they do a roll call at the start. So I think we'll do that. So to contact us, right, to listen to the podcast, obviously contact us on My Guy Reviews on Gmail, on Twitter, on Instagram, and also if you're listening to this and you like what you're hearing later on in the actual podcast, subscribe and tell a friend. Telling a friend is the quickest way we can kind of expand, and obviously writing reviews and all that cool jazz. But all the contact stuff will be at the bottom, and My Guy Monkey will go over this again at the end.
Yes, so, of course I will. Much better.
Because he'll remember. Yes. So this week I said to you, let's talk about PlayStation.
Yes.
So Sony have released PlayStation April, PlayStation Plus games, PlayStation Now games, and also during the month of March, from March 26th onwards, they've released the Stay at Home collection as well. So I thought there's a bumper video game session. Let's talk about some of these. Some of which you played, some of which I played. So we'll kind of like give a little insight, little review on each one as well. The big one we could start with is PlayStation Plus for April. Now, have you had a look at what's available to play right now?
You've told me, and I've forgotten already. So this is why it's your lead.
Yeah.
I've been in a different world. I've been playing an RPG, old RPG game, so my brain is in a different universe.
Yes.
It's a great way to start.
It's good. But anyway, I'm hoping you'll know one of these games, because this is one that we've got PlayStation Plus, we've got PlayStation Now. There's a lot of overlapping games. Sometimes a game comes on Now, which then becomes available on Plus. Sometimes something's on Plus, becomes available now. But at one day we'll compare this with the Xbox Live stuff, because someone was telling me Xbox have now chucked in all of the games that they have currently on Xbox, whatever their streaming version it is, and you can play them on the PC. So you can play out all the Fallout games and whatever their collection is. So yeah, at some point we'll compare the two, but for now we're just concentrating on PlayStation Plus, PlayStation Now, and PlayStation at Home. So the three games for April, in no particular order, will be Oddworld, Soulstorm, PS5, Days Gone, PS4, and Zombie Army 4. Now, without, you might not know anything about all of them, but looking at that list, obviously two of which you can play straight away. How excited are you for this list or not?
Well, I've not really. I don't know. I can't play PS5 one, so I can't play that. The zombie one, sounds generic. I don't know. I don't know anything about it. And Days Gone, I've played pretty much. I got stuck, so I've completed it as much as I would complete it. But yeah, as you say, PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus. I played Days Gone on PlayStation Now.
Yes.
Already. Yes.
So I thought let's start with that. So give us a quick review of Days Gone.
Days Gone. Well, from what I remember, it's a lovely environmental game, because it's set in like national park areas in the US, I think.
Yeah.
There's zombies around and stuff, I think. So it's a zombie sort of game. There's a great backstory that I found great for the first half, but then it kind of lingers a bit too on for the second half. It shifts you into a different area of the map. But the first half I really enjoyed the story for. And you're running around on a motorbike, which you have to keep fueled up as well, Mad Max style, which is quite fun as well. And yeah, it's a good game. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, because it seemed like a bit of a budget, first party title or something.
Yeah.
But it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, so Days Gone, as you said, is like an open world action, adventure, survival horror, whatever you want to call it. But it's post-apocalyptic future world, I imagine. But it's
Yeah.
third-person perspective. You play as Deacon, and he loses. So should we spoil a tiny bit of the story? He loses his
the very
wife.
beginning. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just the start, right? So yeah,
That's literally the first cutscene. Is he loses contact with his wife, and then um, that's kind of developed in the story that she seems to be dead, and he just kind of hasn't got closure on that. You visit her grave a lot in the game if you want to. It's kind of an optional side mission thing. You just go up and visit the grave and sort of say stuff. And that sort of thing does appeal to me. Rings true to me.
yeah, and they don't call them zombies, do they? They call them freakers.
All right.
It's the weird thing. There's so many movies or video games and stuff. They don't call them zombies. They always call them something else. And
They do now. Yes.
yeah, just call them zombies.
Like House of the Dead Overkill, they call them mutants.
Yeah.
At one point, one of the characters uses the Z word by accident.
Oh,
And
no.
he's like, no, you don't use the Z word. They're called mutants.
You're right about the bike. So the bike plays a big part of this as well. So similar to Mad Max, where Mad Max has his car, but the only problem that I had, I haven't played the game fully, and it's available now for everyone. But the bike doesn't become an ultimate killing machine,
Right.
which is what you want to use it for, to run over zombies.
Well,
But
you can use it to run over zombies, but you'll
it
damage
keeps
the
getting
bike.
damaged. Yeah, it keeps getting damaged very easily.
Well, if you run over the zombies with it, yes, don't do that. And run into trees, don't do that either.
So
I
top
suppose
tips.
don't go
skip-
over any little ramps because that'll damage it slightly. But do go over the ramps because it's fun. But it does
Yeah.
take a lot of damage, yeah.
So you got to upgrade your motorbike as soon as you can. I think one of the things you want to do is increase the damage, acceleration, the speed, and obviously fuel. You want a fuel tank.
Yeah.
To start off with, they're the first few things. I'd say getting started to just kind of enjoy the game more. They're the things you want to concentrate on. It's an interesting kind of game as well, where the hordes they're kind of slow, kind of by day, but then at night time, when there's more of them, there's there's a horde of them.
Yes.
That's when the game kicks into like something pretty cool, right?
Did you ever go near one of the big caves with just there's just like hundreds of them in there, and that's when
Never played the game.
you never played the game. Really.
Not yet, no, because it was on PlayStation. So this is what they do in Sony PlayStation now: give you a new game, but it's only available for a brief period of time. And I think when this came out, I think I was in the midst of still playing something else.
Yeah,
that was on
crap like Just Cause 4. You
Yeah.
wanted to finish that. You wanted to finish torturing yourself.
I was so desperate that I had to kill these things. It's so frustrating, that game. Then I moved on to Saints 4. And then there was another game that I was in the midst of, but I wouldn't touch Days Gone until I finished that.
It was gone by then. Days Gone was gone.
It was gone. But it just so happens it's now available again. So now I can sit back and enjoy this one. So I didn't get a chance to play it, but there's a lot of stuff, because it's like an open world game. But the hordes was the big thing, right? So you want to give us a bit of insight into hordes and how that worked?
Yeah, I mean, my biggest advice for the game is I got stuck at a point late on where a horde was in my way and I couldn't really skip anything, and I wasn't practiced with them because I avoided combat as much as I can. So my advice is the hordes are probably the worst thing in the game, or hardest thing in the game, and scary thing. But my advice is try and take them on early, try and get some practice in, get some skills going for ready for later on. Otherwise you might get stuck like me. But yeah, basically hordes are there's just like hundreds of them, and they're hundreds of these mutant zombies, whatever they call them, all like in this little dark area, little cave crevice or something. And then if they hear you, they just start charging out, and they just come, and you need to I've seen it recommended sort of using your bike to sort of get away quickly and then sort of taking some out and then getting away again. But it's really quite tricky to stay alive. So it's great fun in the fact that there is that element that is like an overwhelming. It's not just easy zombies all the time. So there is that nice element. It does, like the zombies or whatever they call them, do keep you on your toes, because if they do start coming at you, if you can't shoot at them fast enough, you need to get away fast enough. So that stuff is fun. But yeah, I mean, some people might be able to shoot better. I think it was like a free aim shooting as well, and not so many bullets that you get. Very survival horror type, even though it's an open world with these sometimes large amounts of zombies. So you have to be good with what you've got. And I'm never that good at free aiming, so I just did what I could.
I think the mocktails help though. If you have a few of them always made up, then you could chuck a few and then try and run away. Yeah,
I mean, the point in the game in the sort of second half, which is the bit that started to drag on, but I did get into it in the end. That's when it introduces you to this sort of napalm eventually you can throw into them, and that was supposed to do the job, but I could not get it to do the job. It was telling you to get them trapped and things like that, but it just wasn't happening for me. I tried a few times, but luckily there was a skip button for that one, so it's fine. I skipped the mission. It was only when there was later on after that there was a mission that the mission start was behind the wall of like a horde. So I couldn't get to the mission start, so I couldn't skip. I had to get to the actual mission start. I couldn't do it. But that's focusing on just one thing. There's a lot more fun about the game. As I say, the story I really like. The other part of the story is you've got your best buddy as well. It's a great buddy story, which is another reason you said you didn't want to play it, because of having sort of buddies go bad and things like that. You didn't like those sort of elements in the story.
No, buddies are buddies.
Exactly, buddies should be buddies. When this one, buddy's a buddy. It's good. But he gets, again, it's straight from the offset, like very early on, he gets injured, so you're still out on your own. But you've just got that guy, you've got your best buddy, your boyfriend that you just want to take care of. Your wife's dead, but you've got your boyfriend. It's fine. You just want to get him back on his feet. Just your best friend, but bro love.
That's what you need. I think it was coming into this. I'm still trying to think when this came out on PlayStation Now, but it was available, and there was something else that was either on PlayStation Plus that kind of restricted me from playing this. But it is. It could be
Shadow of War.
Oh, it could have been Shadow of Mordor. Yeah, it could have been, because that was a game that I played for ages. Because this was the you know what, it could be.
Yeah, I also looked into that one as well a bit for a while. Yeah.
And the problem with PlayStation Now, games are only there for like a limited period, so they come in from so games we'll talk about in a bit. They're only available for like a few months.
Yeah, some are there permanently.
Yeah,
or pseudo permanently. They could take them down when they wanted. But yeah, some of the big hitter ones they will only put up for a year or 6 months or 3 months. Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of like playability and stuff, it's a massive game. How would you recommend this? It's PlayStation Plus. You pay for it anyway. You pay for your monthly subscription. Is this one that people should play?
Absolutely, I would recommend this one. And it's not that big. Like it is a budget big game. It's kind of in between, but it's got enough openness and nice and environments to definitely satisfy, I think. And the third section you enter, there's some really nice snow effect. That's all I'm saying. It just lands on the ground and ends up with a little layer looking of snow, which is just brilliant, because it's like it's what do you call it? It's ambient weather, so it can come at any time. So I've seen snow like on the ground before in games, but never quite like that, with it landing and being nice and then settling after a certain amount of time and then disappearing again when it gets warmer. Little elements like that make it really interesting. I played it with headphones as well. It's got really nice sound nice soundscape, absorbing sort of thing. Yeah, I recommend
sounds
it.
good. Highly recommended that. I think one thing that I'd say is fuel cans. I think I read somewhere they're like an infinite amount. So if you find a place where there's some cans, go up to there and it'll always just respawn. And the other thing is always drive through gas stations, right? Or petrol stations whenever you get a chance.
They quite often have them. Yeah.
So that's
you can actually use. What I didn't realise is you can actually go to an actual fuel tank in a petrol station, and you can pick up the thing, put it into your bike, fill it up anytime. I didn't realise that. I was always hunting around for the little cans in the places most of the time until I finally pressed the right button. I was like, oh, okay, I could have done this the whole time. But then you're always on your toes there because there's always going to be potential attacks. So you're just like fill up. Go.
Yes, exactly. It's one of those games where, like you say, it's not too long, but you gotta concentrate a little bit because those hordes are super quick, and if you're not careful, they will overwhelm you very quickly.
Yes, I think I found it was a good idea to save now and then, or do a quick save for that reason. And also, like, if I've got a nice weapon and I end up breaking it stupidly, which is another element, then like I think if you break it to 100%, it's gone. But like if you break it down and then repair it, you can keep using it. I think that was the case. So if I accidentally forgot to repair it and it suddenly got wasted, I was like, oh no, that was my best weapon. Then I'd be thinking of, where did I save it last? I want my weapon back.
Well, I had a quick look online. So there's a website I use a lot, which we can link on the bottom. It's not that we do anything with it, but it's called How Long to Beat, and that gives you a rough indication of the average time for the mission, the main story mission, the main story and extra missions, and then the completers. So they basically, in there, people input how long it took them to complete the game.
Let's use the info and share it as usual.
Yes. So Days Gone is 38-hour campaign.
Wow.
So that's huge.
That's quite long.
That's not a small game.
Feels like a small environment in some way.
Did it? Sounds massive to me.
Okay. What about completionists and side stuff then?
Okay, so main and extra they put down as 52.5 hours on average. Completist was 63 hours.
63, yeah. So I would have liked to have got all the trophies as well, but I could even finish the main story, so there was no way.
So that's the first PlayStation Plus game.
Yes, what we knew about.
Which we knew about, based on our rating. myguy Monkey would put this as
4-star.
4-star, yes.
Go for it.
Definitely.
I like motorbikes and zombies, so you take that as you will.
So the next game that they put in their list, which I haven't played any of the series, is called Zombie Army 4 Dead War. So this is a third-person shooter.
Right.
And I think when I saw a little video of this, you can play. It's multiplayer, so you can have like people join you, and you kind of shooting hordes of zombies. It doesn't really sound that appealing, but I think it's one of those where I think when you play it, and the main campaign's only about 11 hours long, so it's not that big. That's compared to Days Gone. This is a good, easier pickup, I imagine.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, if it's multiplayer fun as well, that's like a whole different side of things, isn't it?
Yeah. So in this, if you've got people online that you play a lot of games with, PlayStation Plus obviously has that. You could play a campaign between 1 to 4 people, and it's just basically playing co-op and killing Nazi zombies.
Oh, nice.
So it's almost like, what more do you need?
It's basically COD multiplayer, but bigger. The zombie Nazis. I see there's a shark in the game. That's pretty cool. I would play it just for the shark.
For the shark, yeah. Okay, so that's you heard it here first. There's a shark in the game, and myguy Monkeys highly recommends any games with sharks.
spoilers. Seen a picture. There's a shark. It looks cool. 2 stars at least for that. Give it a try.
So in this, you can play campaign all by yourself, or you can play campaign with up to 4 players. So it sounds it sounds a bit like one of the games we'll talk about later, but it sounds like it's a good game. If you've got PlayStation Plus and you've got lots of people to play with, this is perfect.
Most people, yeah, if you have PlayStation Plus, even just a multiplayer with your friends, then you're getting this free game, and you've got friends there to play with. So why not? It's kind of cool, these kind of games to be released on Plus.
Yeah, I've seen like a little trailer of it, and I've seen little bits of it. I'm intrigued. I'll play like a mission or 2 of it. See how I get on, because I don't mind third-person shooters, especially when you get a good cover shooter, prepared cover shooters.
You can hide all the time.
Exactly. Run away, hide against a wall, get my health back. I'm just watching a clip of it online, and it looks quite fun. There's just hordes of these zombies coming towards them, and this person's got various weapon types, and it's just blasting their way through them. Zombies, Nazis. I mean, what more do you want?
Yeah, sounds fun. I'd give it a go as well, definitely. Yeah, maybe we'll jump on there someday.
Yeah, with a 10-hour 11-hour campaign, it's not bad.
Yeah, I'll help you with an hour of it, and then you can plow through the rest.
And then I'll plow through. Yeah, I could do that.
It doesn't take long. 10 hours, easy.
Yeah, I could. Just one night. I can do that in one night.
If you multiplayer, does it bring the time down? Do you think it's like 4 hours then?
I guess not. I guess it's
probably the same length.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, so that's the Zombie Army, and the next game is a PS5 game. So this is Oddworld. Have you played any of the Oddworld games?
It sounds like Abe's Odyssey. Is that part of that series?
Oddworld might be.
But I think there might be something else.
So Oddworld, I'm trying to find out the series information, but it's Oddworld, Abe's Odyssey. Yes, it is part of the franchise. Excellent. So you played that because that's an old school PlayStation.
Yeah, I played the original on PlayStation 1. I haven't played it since then, but it was a great game on there. It was like a platformer, side-on platformer. But your little guy was a very peaceful guy. He had no weapons whatsoever. And he had to use sort of spiritual chanting to do things and pull levers and things. But the one thing he could do that was violent, well, I suppose there's a few things, like he could call the enemies over, sort of trick them into running into a mine or something like that, which was pretty fun. Or into little traps and pulling a lever so they fall down a hole just at the right moment. But also he could do this chant thing where he would possess one of the enemies, and these guys have got machine guns, so then you could just go around machine gunning each other, all the other enemies. But it was a really, really fun game back in the day. It was very unique and very good looking as well. Very 3D looking.
This on the PS5, it's still a platformer similar to the old PlayStation game, but obviously that 2D animation looks better now, a lot better, because it's 2D/3D, because of the depth and stuff. And
it was always like that on the PS1. It was very good sort of 2D. It's like it looked 3D and it would have perspective, but I imagine now it's more true 3D, but sort of stuck to the 2D.
Yeah, so it's stuck to its roots. So it's not gone open world, gone crazy or anything yet. They're stuck to that kind of formula that worked for them. And this game is available for anyone with the PlayStation Plus, but available as a PS5 game, which is again a really good thing. They've given away some good PS5 games recently, and I think this is a new launch title as well. So it's just come out, and you've got it on PS5.
Excellent. Yeah, sounds good. I mean, I'd definitely purchase it if I can and have it ready for the PS5, if that's possible. Yeah,
I mean, it's free as long as we keep paying Sony a monthly fee.
Everything's free, it's fine.
So PlayStation Plus does cost money, and you do have to keep paying them every month. But otherwise, it's free.
Yeah, that's right. It's like, I don't know. I'm trying to think of a comparison. It's like paying gangsters, sort of something. You're paying protection money, but
Yes,
it
protection.
protects those games for you. They throw you a bone every now and then, these gangsters.
So it's at this, because it's just come out. So it came out on the 6th of April. Obviously, it's been released on PlayStation Plus, so we don't have no other data on it. Like, what are critics thinking? Not that we care. What people thinking? That's kind of more important. And actually, how long is it to complete? So I don't have that information, but I've seen the trailer and I've seen some footage of the game, and it's exactly as you talked about there. It's like the return to form based on the original one, and it looks PS5 stunning. So if you're a fan of the Oddworld series, I think it's going to be great. Even if you're not a fan and you have a PS5, I mean, it's a launch title. It's free.
Why would you get it? It's free.
Yeah.
Just take it.
You pay your £40 or £50, whatever it is, for your monthly yearly subscription, but it's free.
£400 or however much it is for.
Oh yeah, I forgot you have to buy the console hardware still. Yeah,
but it's free.
But it's free. So
Sony loves you.
Oh, yes, they do. Sony does. So they've given those 3 games. Overall, how would you rate the month? Have you started to give the month of April?
Let's give it a 4-star just because it's giving us that classic. It's giving us Days Gone, which I think is a great game, and I'm sure the Zombies one co-op fun. Sounds like a good lineup. It's no Just Cause 4, that's for sure.
No. Shocking that game was. So that brings us nicely into. So the next thing that we have is obviously PlayStation Plus. You pay for that, and that gives you online subscription plus those free games. Then Sony offer another service called PlayStation Now. For those who don't know, PlayStation Now is their streaming, kind of like Netflix model of video games, where you've got access to a massive back catalogue of PS1 titles, PS2 titles, PS3 titles. Not every game ever made, but a good variety of games.
100, 300, 400, however many it is.
Yeah, and then add in some PS4 games as well. And I imagine some of these will eventually become PS5 games as well, I guess. But right now, yes, you get PS1, 2, 3, and you get PS4 games. Some of them you have to stream, so you need to have good internet access to do that. Others you can download, which are like more the PS4 games. You can download and then play them for as long as they're available. So the PlayStation Now has games, but some of them have a limited time as well that they're on their service for. Or PlayStation Plus, if you pay for that annual subscription and you're in month number 1, you've got that game for 12 months, and then you have to renew that subscription to have the game again. Again, both of these services, you do not own any of the games. They're just they're Sony's games. You're just paying Sony.
You're just borrowing them.
The privilege.
For free.
It's a library.
You're paying for free, but
you're paying for a library subscription just so you can read the book.
It's like a library card, but they make you pay.
Yes. Great. And this month of April, PlayStation Now has only got 3 games. Normally they chuck in more, and then they have like old PS3 games and a few others. But this time, only 3. As we're Sony fanboys and Disney fanboys, of course, they're chucking in Marvel's Avengers as one of the 3 games. Now, do you know anything about this game, first and foremost?
Yes, I know that it kind of sucks, but it's okay.
Yes.
That's how much I know.
So this is available on PlayStation Now. As of now, you play as a third-person Marvel character. You start the game and you play as Kamala Khan, who's Miss Marvel. And then once you do the first very 5-10 minutes walking around trying to get these comic books, you can then play as the main Avengers roster. So you can play as... It jumps between the characters. So you play a little bit as Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Thor, and Black Widow. And that's all of those bits are leading up to fighting against the Taskmaster again, who was one of the side villains in the Spider-Man game. And he was actually really good in that game. And it's since I've downloaded it, it's crashed 3 times on me. It's still really buggy, which is weird because it's been out so long, and it's still quite buggy. A lot of the criticism was around kind of how bad it performed, and because it's had mixed to average reviews as well. And also a lot of people said it's kind of like it's very repetitive, while it's a bit of fun kind of jumping around between the characters. But the stories and bits and pieces are kind of like not that good. So far, I've played maybe half an hour of the game, and I played the main characters. Thor was good to play as, because he always is. Iron Man was kind of boring. There's a moment where you have to fly, and fighting, you can fly and you can stand on the ground and fight. Didn't really enjoy it that much. Played as Cap. Cap gets to throw his shield around. Some of his fighting is okay. Hulk is fine. He just smashes. But actually, played as Romanoff, Black Widow, her character is more fluid than Captain was. So Cap, his blocking, he seems more of a tank than Romanoff did. Because when you're fighting as Taskmaster, her movements are more fluid. The attacking style was better. And it felt so
typical usage of sort of female character gives them an extra agility.
Yes, I think that's kind of it. While the other character, but the other character is not as much fun. But Thor is amazing because you get to play with, and you get to throw Mjolnir around, which is good. You get to do the lightning.
Awesome.
And obviously it's Chris Hemsworth, so we got. If I could play as Thor,
Chris Hemsworth, exactly.
It's my Thor is Chris Hemsworth. The game's Thor is someone else. But it's a weird game so far, and I know a lot of people jumped off this game very quickly. So there is elements of the online playing mode which I haven't logged onto yet, where you can play as up to 4 characters, and I guess you do some missions. I've just picked up the single player option so far, just to get used to the game.
It sounds more like the sort of style of game. It sounds like it would suit more online, like the DC Universe Online.
Yeah.
That's if it's just repetitive tasks. That sounds like what it is. So I imagine the single player sounds a bit odd. Yeah.
So it claims that there's a campaign, like a single player campaign where you play as Miss Marvel. But if you could choose, I don't know how they would do this, but if you could choose your Avenger, and you could play as that Avenger in their world. So with Thor, you could play in Asgard, you could play in other places. I think I'm being too ambitious, maybe, and I play as Thor. I go to Asgard, and I can team up with Hulk as well, and me and him can go on adventures together. That to me would sound like an amazing game, and I'd still want to play as Cap as well occasionally. Not Iron Man. Maybe Iron Man could be a DLC that I wouldn't purchase.
You don't like Iron Man anymore?
I think Iron Man 1 is great. As the films go on, his films haven't been that good, and I feel like as a character, I think he's the one who causes the most problems. Like, let's say, Ultron. Ultron was his
arrogance.
fault. Yes, he's the one who sells weapons of mass destruction to the terrorists, and then he's moaning about it.
It's everybody's dream. That's who everyone wants to be. Arrogant, rich.
Yeah, like Batman.
Yeah, just like Batman. Of course.
So overall, so some of the criticism towards the game were, so it said the game received mixed reviews upon release. Critics praised its combat and story, but criticized its reputation and lack of sustainable content, user interface, and technical issues.
Ah, okay. Good for them. We just got bored.
We did. Also, this is the game. So Square Inc. posted last year, I think it was, estimated losses of about 63 million, and they blamed most of that on this video game.
Well, yeah, I mean, they obviously purchased the rights to this game, the IPs, and to use them in this game. But having the IPs doesn't make for a good game. You need to make a smart game, especially if you're going to have 5 different or however many different big iconic characters to play as. You need to be smart about that.
Yeah, look how good Spider-Man was. They took one character, they looked at how mechanically he worked, the swinging, the combat, because he's so fluid in jumping around, and he's got stealth, and they just made a singular Spider-Man game. Yeah, you control Mary Jane for a little while, which is boring. Miles and Morales a little bit, but generally you're Spider-Man, and you felt like you're Spider-Man whizzing through New York City. It was incredible.
Exactly, yeah. Why not just make Iron Man and make him do good things just on its own? I mean, I know there's a 3D experience. I didn't try that. But... yeah.
So that's the first game on PlayStation Now. Based on my review and what I've said to you, how likely are you to play this game? Now, this one, you've only got a short window to play this in. This isn't around for a long time. It's only available till July the 5th.
I'm not likely to try this one, I have to say. Doesn't sound appealing. Doesn't sound good use of my time.
So I'm
Plus, I have to move the router.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play this to the end. Even if it's terrible.
I mean, it sounds quite short. I'm sure you can finish it.
So if I was to take a guess on how long it is, if you were to guess, I'm still on the website, how long to beat Marvel's Avengers campaign main story. Roughly, how long do you think it'd take to complete?
I have to guess. Let's say 20 hours.
Not bad. So the main story is about 11 and a half hours. So
I was thinking 10, but I thought, no, it's got to be more than that.
So it says main story about 11 and a half. Main plus extra is 20. And then completist is 87 and a half hours. So I guess each run through you play as a character, because it says all styles is 15 hours. So you might be playing as multiple characters. But I'll definitely play this through one time. I don't think I'll do multiple
11
replays.
hours.
Yeah, I think I'll get through that. Yeah,
I think that'll take you 20 hours anyway.
Easily, yeah. I'll take me a couple of years. And then the next game that they're given that I'm super excited for is obviously Borderlands 3.
That's on Plus.
That's on now, yeah. So no DLCs, just the base game. PlayStation.
Fair enough.
I don't know if both of these are PS5 as well, because a lot of the games you can play on the PS5, if they're the PS5 versions, is what I meant. But Borderlands 3, how excited are you for this one?
Yeah, I mean, I want to play it. I want to see if it's... I get some mixed reviews, like a mixed feeling about it a little bit. So I'm curious to see if it's as good as the other two, because I love the other two. And just to see where maybe it's starting to drop off a little bit. Definitely want to give it a go for free or no extra cost.
Nice, yeah. So if we talk back about Borderlands, so Borderlands, the first one, it's a first-person shooter. It's a looter shooter, open world role-playing game, but it's almost everything and everyone you kill will drop a gun at some point, or a shield or something, and there are loot boxes full of guns and all sorts of stuff. So this, we played the first one, played it quite a lot, really enjoyed it. You land on Pandora. In the original, you can play as Roland, Brick, Mordecai, and the Siren Lilith. You used to play Lilith. I used to play Roland, and it was just an amazing game. Like the varied missions. Well, in the first one, it was quite. There's a lot of parts that was just kind of driving. It was quite boring. The quick travel wasn't as good. They addressed all of that in the second one, but it was such a good game. It was so good, the first one.
It has a sort of cartoony look to it as well. It's kind of cel-shaded
Yes.
look, it was nice for that game. It looked good. And a lot of fun.
And I think what they did with the second one, in my opinion, is they're taking all the criticism and the problems that they had, and they made them better. Where you didn't have to drive as much. There was driving, but there was missions around the driving. The fast travel system got better. The guns.
You never liked driving.
Are plenty. Yeah, especially in this game. The only game that I enjoyed driving in is GTA, where I think they've nailed the driving. They've done it. It feels.
Which one? GTA 5.
GTA 5. Yeah, it feels like a racing game driving. In some racing games, the driving's not as good as GTA 5's racing.
That's
the
true.
Handling and the way the cars move, and just kind of like even the traffic, oncoming traffic, ongoing, everything kind of changes depending on how you work. The environment feels real. Well, even in racing games, sometimes it just feels like you've got oncoming traffic. It's the same car, and it doesn't seem like it's changed. It's the same car drives past you, or they just come out your way. In GTA, there's more to it. There are randomly generated cars. There's a chance of coming up against police, armored trucks, all sorts of cool stuff. Yeah,
the way the camera handles and everything is just honed perfectly, I think, to being arcadey, which they had to do to address GTA 4's the title before it. The driving in that, the cars were too realistic, so they just gone the completely other way, fully arcade. But then you got Borderlands, where it's kind of like, I think it's kind of light, very light sort of feeling vehicles, because your main focus in the game is being a first-person shooter rather than the vehicles.
Yes, I think that's secondary, the driving around. So Borderlands 1, 2, 3. So we had Borderlands 1, Borderlands 2, then had Borderlands pre-sequel, and now we've got Borderlands 3. So it takes you return back to Pandora as you'd expect, but for the first time in this one, you can now jump to other planets as well, which is pretty good. Also, once you finish the game, which you didn't have this chance in Borderlands 1 and 2, you still get to go to the True Vault Hunter mode and the other modes. But if you finish the game, the main mission, all the remaining missions then scale up to your level. So in previous Borderlands games, where if you finished the main mission and you didn't realize you're on the final bit, everything else stayed at it was original level. And then if you wanted to complete it, you'd run through it and just one shot everything. It's kind of boring. But now they've improved on that. They've improved on like the skill tree. I feel like they've innovated it enough to make it a third game in the series. But it's all down to DLCs, because Borderlands always had some of the best DLCs. Like Borderlands 1 had the claptrap stuff. It had the Dr. Ned's, I think it is, in the first one. The second one had Halloween DLCs, had the RPG one that we love.
Yes, my favorite one.
It had Captain Scarlet's one. It's again, those are the best bits. So for this one, Borderlands 3, it's just the base game that they're giving on PlayStation Now.
Yeah, it's almost like a taster for the game. If you're going to get it in the future, you'd get all the DLCs, get the Game of the Year edition, but you get like the taster on Plus or on Now.
Exactly. So you still get about 30 hours, I guess, of campaign. That's roughly normally how long it takes to complete a Borderlands game. But you still gain a lot of content there, a lot of the crazy gameplay that we'd expect. We'll love and see.
It's nice, fast-paced action. Yeah. Yeah.
So in terms of like the main story, in terms of like Borderlands number 1, it was about 22 and a half hours to complete. Borderlands 2 was about 30 hours. This one is 22 and a half. So Borderlands 2's a bigger game. No, Borderlands 2 is bigger. It's 8 hours more. So I think they've shrunk some of maybe that was one of the criticisms of the game or something.
Maybe. I mean, I like doing things a long time.
Yeah.
That sort of game, it's just you get repetitive, you get into the flow of it. You're taking every little base out. It's just you can't help but want to play it.
And one of the better things that they've done now also is change the multiplayer. So when you're playing the multiplayer in the previous, you used to go to matchmaking. You just select someone, and someone who's on a higher level could join your game, and they could just one shot everyone for you.
Yeah, that's
now they've done it so you can do matchmaking of a similar level, so you can play with people who are the same level, and then you have options within there as well where you can share the loot with everyone, which was one thing you couldn't do in the previous games, where if someone saw a gun, they pick it up, it's their gun.
Yeah.
Now you can share the loot, or you can still play the original way where you don't get, where it's first come first serve, so whoever gets the gun first can keep it.
Yeah.
So they've given you that option, so it's up to you how you want to play. So their multiplayer has changed as well, and it looks really good. In terms of how they've improved that bit. There's obviously new perks, there's new effects, there's new weapons, and there'll be new foes. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how they improve on the second one.
I feel like the one thing they could have done with multiplayer was, because you would like to play, but we're always different levels. I think the first game I was over leveled, the second game you ended up over leveled.
Yeah.
And just whatever game you joined, I think it should change your level to match it, so that if you're on a high level and you're fighting high level bosses and I join in, it should just level me up to about your par, so we can be equal. And then again, if you want to join a lower game, just level you down so you've got the same sort of capabilities and same challenge. Because that was one thing that kind of made it a bit silly.
Yeah, and I think they've learned from that, so that's why the matchmaking now is a lot better. I think you get something. I think you go into the pause menu, you go to the social option, and then you have several choices within there, so you can choose. And I think it sounds like it's a lot better.
Excellent.
You have something. So one of the matchmaking will give you several choices. First of all, you can pick. Okay, so you have something called Circle of Slaughter, which will pair you and 3 other players against increasingly powerful waves of enemies until you can no longer take. So that sounds. That's against
mode,
something.
Whatever, survival.
Yeah, pretty much. So this sounds like it's a new mode to what they've never had before. So you can start, and then again you just wait for people who are on the same sort of level as you, and then it puts you in there. So you've got this kind of new way of playing multiplayer as well. And co-op was always good in Borderlands because you can help people through their level, and you don't have to steal anything from them. You just kind of work with them.
Yeah, you just go in when you're overpowered and just kill everything.
It just helps.
Or just watch them kill everything, and then if you feel like it, just bam, everything's gone.
So that's that. I'm really looking forward to Borderlands 3.
Yeah.
Definitely, it's a must play.
Yeah, give it some stars. Because I've got some stars in mind.
Oh yeah. It's only available till September the 29th. So that's the first thing to note. So Marvel's Avengers is only available till July the 5th, and this one is 29th of September. For me, it's a 4-star game.
Me too. For me, it's 4-star. Worth moving the router.
Yes.
I can actually play it. Plug straight into the router to get a decent connection. Be able to stream that game. Of course, you can download it if you're the owner of the PS Plus.
Yes,
PS
which is really good for anyone who's got PlayStation now, because you just need to have storage, and then you can just play it offline pretty much.
Yeah, but I just use the share facility that Sony has allowed as well, so I have to play it streaming at all times. But that's okay too. It just gives you extra challenges with your internet.
And while we're talking Borderlands, so Borderlands is also getting a movie. Oh yeah. So it's I think it's moving ahead quite well. So there's a lot of actors and stuff already assigned to it. So we'll quickly talk about that. And it's weird because I think we spoke about this very briefly. Is the characters in my head what I think they should be, and actually what they are, or the people who he's picked. They don't. One of them doesn't match. So Borderlands the movie will have Kate Blanchett as Lilith, which is fine. She's the siren. I think that kind of works. It's just Kevin Hart as Roland. So Roland's he's not comic relief in the video games. He's a very kind of straight-faced. He's a straight man basically. Plus he's tall and he's built. I love Kevin Hart, but he's just not Kevin Hart when I think Roland.
No.
Jamie Lee Curtis, which I think is a great get as Dr. Patrice Tannis, who's the one who finds the vault in the very first game. I think that's a perfect match for her. Jack Black will voice Claptrap, which I think is really good. Someone called Ariana Greenblatt as Tiny Tina. I'm not sure who that is. They've also got someone as the Psycho Crag. Again, I'm not sure who that is. Edgar Ramirez. He's a handsome fella. He plays Atlantis. I'm not sure who Atlantis is. And Olivia, someone will play Crom. So again, this is shaping up to be kind of like it's coming together really well. I guess
you just want to see Dwayne the Rock Johnson, though.
I know, that's it. It's just put him in as Brick. The film officially started filming this month, so it's actually happening. This is for real.
At
last, Borderlands the video game is happening. I think we spoke about this, and I said I love the game. I'd love to see a film, but the director of this film he's rubbish. Because the horror movies he's made should be so much better, but they're all terrible. Cabin Fever, Hostel Part 2.
Oh yeah.
All rubbish.
Bit generic.
Director National Pride. I've never heard of that. Oh yeah, that's the film within Inglourious Bastards. Green Inferno. I didn't really like it. The cannibal film. Knock Knock. I mean, Keanu's in it, and I love Keanu, but that's about it. Death Wish.
You never know. You might do okay with this. How can it go wrong?
The only one I haven't seen, which actually I think people gave good reviews to, was The House with a Clock in Its Walls. Did you watch this one?
No.
It stars Kate Blanchett and Jack Black.
Well, there you go. Two of the actors as well.
Yeah. So if he's got one good film out of 10, this could be either his second good film or his next worst film.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even imagine it being bad. I can only imagine Borderlands, but it could go wrong.
Could go terribly wrong. I mean, yeah. So the good thing that you have is you've got all this lore that you can kind of tap into, and you've got the creature, the character designs, you've got the world, so you can kind of you can take those bits and just build on that, and you can make your own kind of story if you like. So the story is Lilith, who will be played by Kate Blanchett. She's an infamous outlaw with a mysterious past, which we all know about because we play the video games. She's reluctant to return home, planet of Pandora, because she's missing her daughter. Oh, so this is a story about mum and daughter. So this is like Finding Nemo.
She's changing already. You can see that in a good way or bad way.
Yeah, to be fair, I don't mind if they change the story, because it's a weird story. Why would you want to watch 4 people get to Pandora in a bus driven by Marcus, the man with the guns? Because he drives them to the very first part, and then they just go off shooting things and looting things.
Yeah.
It's weird.
Absolutely. That's the thing you got to remember, is with video games, you're making your own story because you're just running around shooting stuff, you're taking part. So a film does have to be a completely different thing.
I think if they can get a couple of good looking CGI skags in there somewhere, a couple of the psychos, if they can nail some of those parts, it could be okay.
Yeah, the other problem is if you're converting an action game to a movie, is the temptation just to make it full of action, and that can be very boring as well for me. Like, it needs to be the right sort of levels of story and action.
Yeah, and it's hard because it's a you're off planet. It's a weird world, and in the video game you are just running around shooting everything that moves.
Yeah.
But how do you put that in a film to make it compelling and interesting enough
to
keep someone's attention for 2 hours?
You have to close it in a bit, don't you, really, to make it good. Keep it closed in and tense, and keep the enemy the enemy count low. Give them weight to them. Can't just be blasting everything.
Yeah. What would have been good is like obviously if this film works and it goes really well, is do a smaller film with just concentrating on Tiny Tina. She's an incredible character who's got a really tragic backstory, but comes across as this really weird, fun kid who loves explosions and guns, and there's a reason for all of that, and you could see that. And she's been living in this cave in Borderlands 2 because you come and meet her, and then you do the RPG game stuff with her later. So somehow,
that could be a good story.
Turning her into the main character or a spin-off film, I don't know, that would work for me.
Yeah. What about Lilith's daughter in this film then? Because they're not going to make it into Tiny Tina, are they? They sort of mash the stories together.
No, that would have been bad. Lilith's daughter is played by a new siren, I imagine. It's a new character that they've introduced just for the film.
That's good then.
So, in terms of the film, how many stars do you give that? How excited are you for that?
Man, it's a video game film. I'm excited already. Like, I already have to change my pants. I'm that excited. It's good stuff. And yeah, Borderlands. I'm still imagining Dwayne Johnson Rock in there.
I'd love to see him in there. Yeah.
If he's not in there, I'll just bring a picture of him in there and just sort of put it in front of my face and across the screen and just pretend he's someone else.
Put his head on every character.
Yeah, it'd be perfect. Just one character. Mr. Hart, maybe. But yeah, I'm excited. 4 stars. I can't wait to see it in the cinema. Nice. If the cinemas are open by then, come on.
It might be next year by the time because if it's shooting now, they might shoot for about 3 months. And then it goes into post-production. We'll go into editing, the CGI, doing all the CGI and stuff. And then at some point there might be reshoots. So I imagine it might not be out till next year.
Good. Definitely.
And the last game I'm a 4-star. I mean, there's video games that you play that you'd love to see. And I think like Assassin's Creed for me I wanted to see that, but it turned out rubbish. For you, it may have been Silent Hill, and you didn't enjoy that, but I enjoyed it. So it's weird. It's weird. I'd love to see it.
Because whatever game you love, when you go to see the film, it's like they change too much, but they've got to change it. But it's always disappointing in a way. The less you know about the game, I think the better the movie is.
The more you enjoy it, definitely.
Yeah, we'll see. I still want to see it. And I think I've forgotten enough of the game. It's been long enough that I should be able to enjoy it.
But you would be playing Borderlands 3 before then?
Yes, true.
Of course, because it's on PlayStation now.
Before September.
Yes. And then the last game on PlayStation now is something called The Long Dark, which doesn't have a date when it's going to end, but it seems like it's an indie or not a AAA title, but it's a exploration survivor horror video game. Last month they put in a game which again was it's called Little Nightmares or something similar, but that was really good. That was like a 2D kind of 3D world kind of game. And it looked amazing. So the environment, everything around him, the character, was just trying to kill him. And you're this tiny little sack boy, and you're trying to stay alive. And this game feels a bit like that, where it's like a 3D world. Again, things are trying to kill you. As with all video
Everything.
games,
Always trying to
everything's
kill you.
yeah.
I thought a game where you just go around helping people and no one wants to hurt you. Where is that game?
I'm sure it's there somewhere, but they haven't made it yet.
Animal Crossing, maybe. But I need to
Animal
switch.
Crossing, yes. I mean, that game was huge during the pandemic, so yeah.
Game of debt, though. I think it really is. According to from what I've heard, the game is all based around paying off a loan.
Oh, is it?
That's what Animal Crossing is about. It's its heart.
So last month they released something called Little Nightmares on PlayStation Now, because Little Nightmares 2 is out, and this game feels just like that. Little Nightmares. Anyone who hasn't had a chance to play that, it's on PlayStation Now. It's incredible, and it's really, there's a lot of great jump scares in there, and there's lots of rushing to get out the way of stuff, but it doesn't feel cheated. In some video games, it feels like, if you're stealthing and if you don't do something right, you feel a bit cheated, like you feel like the game's taking there isn't a way out. But here, there are enough. But you have to do things perfectly to get out of the way at the right time. But it is really good.
Okay. That's a big mixture of things you're saying there, I think. Yeah.
I know, it's weird. You have to play it. You have to play it.
To play it to find out exactly.
Yeah. So this game, The Long Dark, which I didn't really describe that well. How interested are you in that?
I am interested. Yeah. I mean, I like exploration, so that bit appeals to me. I'd definitely give it a try if I had the router plugged in, and I'm like, well, I might as well play as much of the PS Plus games as I can now. I would definitely give it a try. 2 stars.
2 stars. It's actually quite a long game. It's about 20-hour campaign. So it's rare. So it's a big little game. Overall, PlayStation Now for the month of April, how many stars?
How about, what would you give it?
The first 2 games I really want to play. So it's 4 stars. The third one's a nice bonus for me.
Yeah, I would have to base it purely on Borderlands 3. The fact you don't get to do the DLCs, would that damage it? I don't know. It's definitely 3 or 4 stars. Just to play it for free, yeah, it's got to be 4 stars. Just for Borderlands 3.
Yes. And then that brings us nicely into the last thing. So PlayStation have released a similar thing to what they did last year, and it's Play at Home. And they've given away a bunch of free games. So they've already given away Ratchet and Clank, and they're now giving away a further 10 games.
Wow.
The first bunch that we'll talk about are the kind of like there, and some are PlayStation VR games as well. So there's 4 VR games, and then there's a AAA title. So there's an underwater explorer survival, underwater world, kind of distant planet kind of adventure explorer kind of game.
Yeah.
Subnautica.
Yeah.
Which sounds quite good. I might play that for a little while. Don't know enough about it yet because I didn't really look into all of these games that well, but it is quite a big game. It's about 28-hour campaign, so it's for free.
Yeah, I've seen something of it, and yeah, it looks nice. Just looks pretty. Get to swim around underwater. It's pretty cool. The effects that they can do with this generation, I think that sort of game will show it off, because water effects is always something that improves. Even when nothing else can improve anymore, water always does, so far.
Yeah, and it's an underwater kind of swimming game as well, so you kind of like, there'll be things underwater, in the dark, in the bright light, different fishes and stuff. So it sounds, it definitely sounds like a good kind of like game to play. And this, you don't need PlayStation Now, you don't need PlayStation Plus, you just need to have a PlayStation account to get this game free.
Nice. And a PS4 to play it on, I guess.
If you want to play it, yes. If you just want the game free.
Get it.
Just get it.
Get it free, take it.
Get it free, yes. So that's game number 1. The next one is Enter the Gungeon.
The Gungeon.
Gungeon. There you go. You know it better.
It's like a dungeon, but you got guns.
Yes.
I've heard of it. Yes.
You have? Okay, so what's it about? If you
That's all I've heard. I just remember.
you just heard the title.
I guess it's probably like a stick shooter, but in a like dungeon, but you got guns. I expect that's about it.
Basically, yeah, shoot and loot kind of game,
Yeah.
but in dungeons, in search of a gun that can kill the past.
Oh, okay. So it's not guns then. It's still sort of more dungeon sword and arrow, maybe at best based. Or do you have guns?
You do have guns, but you're in a dungeon full of guns.
Okay. A mashup.
But it's like a Zelda, original Zelda looking game where
Isometric.
that's the word. And you shoot the environment. You go to various dungeons, and you basically got weapons and stuff, and you're just trying to work your way through each thing. Loads of different enemy types. It's fast moving, fast paced, and you come up against taverns, and you upgrade, you buy health and stuff. So it's that sort of cool old school game, and you can play it co-op as well.
Excellent.
And again,
I think
it's free.
Yes, free. Take it.
Minus owning the PlayStation bit, but yes, it's free.
I'm having a look at the actual page, and it's kind of pixely, the Enter the Gungeon.
Yeah.
Like a very retro pixel vibe to it. It's definitely one that I've seen come up a lot in offers, and I've been tempted. But then it hasn't tempted me enough to buy it, to pay for it.
Well, now you can get it for free.
I can get it for free. Thank goodness I didn't pay for it. Imagine all those people that bought it.
So that you know what, I will play that. I wasn't going to, but I will. The next one they've given is Abzû, which is an underwater, beautiful ocean swimming kind of game. It's not that long. Awesome. It's only a couple of hours to finish, and it's just beautiful underwater swimming. Get swimming like dolphins. It doesn't seem like things are trying to kill you. You're doing puzzles underground, underwater, and you're just kind of exploring as you're going along.
Yeah, sounds awesome. More underwater vibes.
Yeah, I think because if you're saying stay at home here, here's this thing, stay at home. But by the way, look at this cool underwater stuff. Do it from your own house. The safety of your own home. So I'm like,
go exploring. Yes.
IGN gave that an 8.4, if that helps anyone.
Nice.
The next one is something called The Witness, which is like creative thinking, puzzle solving. So it's just a puzzler.
Okay.
Which
set on an island by the looks of it.
Yeah, it does look like that way, doesn't it? It looks like a beautiful world but it's basic puzzles, and you're unlocking the island, and the island gets bigger as you start to unlock and discover more of the island. So again, similar to the last game,
DiCaprio
at the beach.
No, that one way is on the island, something island.
Oh, Shutter Island.
Shutter Island.
Yes. Yeah.
I think it's going to be exactly like that.
Exactly.
I think that's the game.
It sounds incredible. Shutter Island, the video game.
Yeah, they just couldn't call it Shutter Island because of copyright.
Because Leo would get them if they actually said, you're making this game. He would get them. He'd be like, no, I'm Leo. Don't make a video game.
I want to be in the game.
Yeah, I mean, he's bigger than any video game ever. So the next one is Rez Infinite, and this is blasting your way through waves and waves of enemies. It sounds a bit like those old school video games where you played as the ship. Yeah. But now instead of a ship, shoot 'em ups. Now you're playing as a person who seems to be floating through the terrain, and there's things to shoot. And you have a little box, and you have to just shoot stuff. sounds super boring, but it's free. So,
Well, it's probably quite fun to play. Actually, I was never that into those shmups and stuff, apart from Salamander, which I had on the Commodore 64. That's going back a bit. That was awesome. That was actually a shmup, but it's quite a slow-moving one.
now you've got a VR, so they're giving you 4 free games for your VR. One of which is Astrobot Rescue Mission. Have you played any Astrobot games before?
With the VR? No, I don't think so. There was an example game that came with it. Maybe that was related.
Yeah,
I'm not sure. I didn't find them that great, that interesting. They're kind of like kid version games.
Yes, yeah, they are. But it's a beautiful landscape that he's in, and it's a platformer, but not a traditional 2D. It's a 3D platformer where you're bouncing around from world to world, you're collecting things, and there's big bosses and stuff. Yeah,
it's kind of like third person. But you are the actual third person.
Yes,
you move your head around, and you've got this little guy, and it's a platformer action. Oh, no, platformer puzzle game mostly, I think. And it sounds like it's an extension of it.
I actually think it looks quite good. I'd play that.
Yeah, if you had the VR, you would.
Yeah, I would.
When lockdown ends, get in the car. Come down.
Get in the car, put on my VR headset, and just drive around.
That's the easier way. Yeah.
The next game is Moss, which actually looks beautiful. You play as a little white mouse, but you embark on like a quest to solve VR puzzles. You played this? Did he say?
No, I've been tempted to buy it a few times. I always forget what it is, and I see the name. I think, oh, that looks really good. What's that? And then I look at what it actually is, and I'm like, I don't want to pay that much for it. I won't pay. So to get it for free, yes, get it.
There you go. There's a big one. My Guy Monkey's happy with the free games now. Finally. Next on the list is something called Thumper.
Right.
Never heard of it as well. It sounds like it would be test your rhythm and reflexes and travel through a world of at blistering speed and invading stuff. Okay.
I love rhythm games, so I'd give this one a go.
No, I'd hate this.
They're not always good, but they're always worth a go. They need to give me Beat Saber. That's the game I wanted forever. But then I've never even plugged in the Move. You're supposed to use the Move controllers with the VR. Some games, but I haven't even bothered with them.
Anyway, this one's free, so you could play this one. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. I will definitely try it. It's free.
And the last VR game that they're giving is something called Paper Beast. Have you heard about this one?
Nope.
It says join forces with exotic creatures and work together to solve mysteries in a beautiful world. Ooh,
awesome!
The trailer looks amazing, and there's like the Paper Beast looks like a horse, but then there's variations on kind of like wildlife and stuff, and it's all kind of like you said, origami kind of thing.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's all paper based as well, which is pretty cool. Like they actually look like paper made things, and the world looks quite nice as well. To be fair, the sand.
Yeah, and one thing about the VR is you can just like the headset when you move it around basically acts like your camera movement. So whatever you're playing, just the fact you can move your head around and feel like you're in the place. Yeah, I think this game would definitely benefit from that.
And it's not long.
It's pretty fun stuff.
It's not long game as well. It's only about 3 to 4 hour gameplay. So this is a must.
That's the one thing with VR games is they seem overpriced sometimes when you have to actually pay for them because of their length. But at the same time, they're getting the right length because if you play, I tried to play Skyrim in 3D in the VR, and you're just spending so many hours in there that you just end up feeling sick from being in this environment, this VR chamber for so long. So they have to make, for a good VR game, it needs to be really nice looking, really good, enjoyable, but short as well. it can't be dragging you in forever.
No. So yeah, so they're the VR games, and they're giving one more game free of charge, which I just finished playing on PlayStation Now. Completed it, but not Platinum Trophy completed it. I played through the main missions, the side missions, and the DLC, and that's Horizon Zero Dawn. And they're giving away Horizon Zero Dawn free of charge. Obviously, you need a console to play it, but it's free of charge, and it includes the DLC. What I'll do is I will put some playthrough videos on the YouTube channel about this and what you should level up on and stuff.
Excellent.
It's actually it's a really great game. The wildlife is like they're dinosaurs, but they're not
mechanical.
Yes, mechanical dinosaurs, and they look incredible. And you fight various different ones. You only have a bow and arrow or variations of bow and arrow. You have like a slingshot, a bow and arrow. You have some traps. You could throw things, and it's incredible. The things I don't like is I don't like to play as Tomb Raider. There's a lot of jumping around, Tomb Raidering in this game, and problem solving. I hate all of that stuff. I just want to shoot dinosaurs, but it's just amazing. Those bits. Story? Oh, it's really good.
The story is quite good. The character story was good.
Yes, it's very good. I think it's one where don't skip all the dialogue early on. Listen to the story. Actually, the story is good. It's very compelling. Actually, her backstory, the main protagonist who you play as, their backstory, their surrogate father's backstory, and how they are all connected to the world and stuff, and where these mechanical beasts have come from. All of that's incredible. I'll put some videos online about the tall necks and breakdown of some of the characters, the enemy types. But it's great, and it's free. Assuming you own a console. As long as you own a console, you can play it. Otherwise it's
value
free
for
of charge.
money. This one is high up.
Oh hell yes,
high value
definitely.
For money, yeah.
I've sunk about 80 hours into the game, including the DLC. The DLC is really difficult, but the weapons that are available on the DLC are superior than the ones in the main game. So I went main game about 3/4 in, and then I dropped into DLC, finished the DLC, got the weapons, came back into the main game, and now I could shoot these enemy types so much easier, and you can pick them off a lot easier. Stick with the game is what I'd say. There's a lot in there, and as you come up across other merchants and stuff, you get better weapon types. So it might seem like you're underpowered. You might think you are, but soon when you get the right weapons and you get the right, I think the buffs as well, the ruins and stuff, then you become a lot more powerful. But you still won't be able to one-shot everything. You will still come up against stuff, and it's just great.
Good. It's giving you a challenge and something to overcome. Sounds good. And and they're giving you the DLC as well in that, which is great. Yeah. Is that out already, or is it coming soon?
So that becomes available from the 19th of April till May the 14th. So that means you have that period of time to download it. Yes. Not to play it, just to download it. So if you didn't have it on PlayStation Now,
download it. Yeah.
Exactly. And then one day when you're at someone's house and they've got a PlayStation, you're like, oh, I've got this game you could play, and you can download Horizon Zero Dawn for them.
Excellent.
So that's our review for PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, and the stay-at-home games for Sony for the month of April.
Play it at home.
There is so much content there that
so much free stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we spend our PlayStation Plus money on them, PlayStation Now money. We bought the hardware, but this is free.
It's all free.
It's all free.
Absolutely. All of that, and I'm playing this RPG right now that was made in something like 2005, and it looks like it did back then still, and it's still addictive. just numbers practically.
But there's so many good games.
It's like RuneScape.
And we've just been through so many good games that you can now pick up for free on PlayStation. Well, again, the PlayStation stay-at-home games are 26th of March to 23rd of April. So download them and keep them forever. Got very short time.
Get them.
Yes, get them. Get all 9 of them, and then get yourselves Horizon Zero Dawn, and then PlayStation Now, PlayStation Plus, whatever you have. Play them all. Get them all. Yes, I recently downloaded Witcher 3, and now I'm going to uninstall it because I've got too many games to play.
Witcher 3, okay.
Yes.
I still haven't played that one.
I know. But now, because I played Horizon Zero Dawn, and someone said online it's similar to Witcher 3, the open world, and the fact that you come up against these randomly generated or random kind of characters, and it's similar sort of weapon types and stuff. And I was like, oh, this sounds good. So I started downloading that. And then PlayStation Now said you get Days Gone, Avengers, Borderlands 3, and all these other free games. And I'm like, I'll just put Witcher. I know. Put Witcher 3 in the background.
Yes, good. Are you going to play Days Gone then, out of curiosity?
I am, but I'm going to play Avengers first, Borderlands next, and then Days Gone if I haven't had another good PlayStation Plus in between, or PlayStation
you'll never
Now.
Play it. You'll never get there.
I'll never get there, I'll be honest.
Fair enough.
Brilliant. Thanks for listening, everyone. And myguy Monkey can finish off and tell us how you can contact us.
Yes, thanks for listening. Thanks for chatting, myguy Brig. You could contact us at our Gmail account, our email at Gmail, our Instagram, our Twitter. Okay, yeah, we've got Twitter. YouTube. There's going to be upcoming gameplay from myguy Brig of some new games, and let a friend know. Tell one friend if you enjoyed this podcast.
Yes, just one friend.
Bring a friend to listen to it next time. Have a watch party.
Yeah.
When we're allowed to.
Yes. So thanks for listening, and bye.
Bye.
No, it's me that's talking.
Brilliant. myguy Reviews, the podcasts